Welcome back to the Spread Pick Show with Mike and Andrew. Already in week 16. Andrew
Flying.
has a just disgusting looking hat on right now, coming off a big win against the Washington football team led by Garrett Gilbert. Who else is doing that? But what's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, nothing much, nothing much. I'm not surprised you don't like my hat. I guess playoff hats at this time of the year just aren't like a New York Giant thing anymore. So it would be common for people to find this hat disgusting.
I'll tell
But
you
it's
what,
just
though. No,
very nice.
I am a big fan of two players on your team, as you know, because I came into
Yep.
last night needing a fantasy football miracle from Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders, and it happened. So love those guys right now. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. But I hope your team misses the playoffs. I'll put it that way.
You guys could quite literally be the reason we missed the playoffs, losing that 13-7 game.
Sad, really sad. That'd be really unfortunate if that was the case. All right, week 15 recap here.
Okay, nice.
Chiefs game, got that one right somehow in overtime. I mean, we barely got that one right, but we took the Chiefs against the Chargers. Lucky win there. The Browns, again, I want to rant about the Browns. This is the second week in a row the Browns have screwed me by half a point. So another Mickey Mouse win for Andrew here as the Raiders win on a game-winning field goal. It's not as bad as the Ravens one from the week prior, but just the Browns I don't know. They just love breaking my heart. I thought it was one of those games where I was listening in the car, and you've listened to football on the radio. It's not very fun.
Yeah.
The viewing
No, it's not.
is a lot better. So, yeah, I was not having fun. And the announcer never said the down and distance, and I'm out here trying to figure it out. It's just, no, TV, much better. For the Colts game on Saturday night, we both took the Colts. Felt really good at halftime, but it got real close at the end. But we still got out there with a victory for us. Thought the Colts. Carolina at Buffalo. Took Buffalo. That game was kind of close with the spread, but I think Davis had the last-minute touchdown there, so we were good. We differed on the Jacksonville-Houston game. Stupid Mike takes Jacksonville again, and I literally said last week I'm going to hate myself for taking them. Well, here I am hating myself, so I took Jacksonville, and you took Houston, who won the game. Tennessee at Pittsburgh. I took Pittsburgh as a favorite bet, got the win, and I'll straight up admit Pittsburgh did not deserve to win that game. I'm saying it.
Yeah, and I remember actually calling it like that you would get that right. They would somehow outright win that game whenever we recorded last time because it's just a thing that would happen. But yeah, no, there's no way. They had 3 turnovers on 3 straight drives, Tennessee. And then they had the turnover on down. So that's 4 straight drives without anything. It sucked.
I just knew it was coming. I knew that was going to happen. What can I say? Well, this one I didn't know was going to happen. Arizona at Detroit. Wow. Arizona was a minus. They were a minus 13 and lost the game. I took Arizona and you took Detroit. So congrats to you there. Jets at Dolphins. Did I get this right? What was the final score of that game? They won by 7, right? So
yeah.
Okay.
Which, dude, I was sitting on the couch with my mom because I did pretty good in the 1 o'clock hour of this whole thing, and I was like, Mom, if they just score on this drive right here, I'm going to cover this spread, and I'm like doing amazing, and like it was like perfect timing. Cue like the pick 6.
Oh yeah, that was right. The pick 6 really.
It was literally perfect timing.
Not good for us. Well, you jinxed it, so thanks. Dallas at the Giants. Dallas was a minus 10.5, and I took the Giants like an idiot. You took the Cowboys, got the win there. Dallas didn't look sharp, but the Giants are just not even an NFL team right now, so that's unfortunate. Washington at Philly, of course, it was played later in the week, but we had it here. Philadelphia was a minus 7. They won by 10, I believe. We both had Philly, got the win. Cincinnati at Denver was a game I was very confused by last week, didn't know who to take, and I took the wrong team. I took Denver, and you took Cincinnati. You got the win there. Atlanta at San Francisco, the Kyle Shanahan revenge game. Tried to warn you. San Fran won big. I took the Niners, and you took the Falcons and got the loss. We both took the Rams. They won by 10 last night. Matt Gay, big game, kicking the balls. Good job. Good job, Matt Gay. I think there was a last-minute field goal, actually, that kind of covered that for us, so that was big. Green Bay at Baltimore. That game was weirdly close. I don't know how. Tyler Huntley is like the real deal, I guess. I don't know. But Green Bay did not cover. We got the loss there. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. I had the Saints, so I got that one. Of course, you took Tampa. I guess you did not expect all 3 of the best weapons on the Buccaneers to get hurt. So that's a shame.
Yeah, not an expectation of mine, unfortunately.
No, that's not good. Minnesota at Chicago. Andrew, what happened to this one? Because Minnesota was favored by 3.5. So what happened last week on this show?
I was just trying to think. I can't really
Uh,
remember. Oh yeah, you mean when I switched to the Bears?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you know what? We're gonna move on.
All right. Well,
Well,
Andrew,
I'm one game behind you now, right?
he
That's
is
what you
one game
said.
behind. Yeah.
Okay,
So if Andrew
wonderful.
did not
Awesome.
switch at the last minute, we would be tied. But I'm 111, 111, and 2. Mr. Andrews 110,
You
112, and 2.
this was the Patriots Falcons game that you kept complaining that you didn't cover. This is that game because Chicago had endless opportunities to
Yeah.
score in that game, and it was just it's heartbreaking.
There
I
was that
picked it.
play with Darnell
Pick it
Mooney in
again.
the end zone where it looked like his
Yeah.
shin was in bounds, but they still called him out. So I was happy about that. I mean, I don't know if he was out or not. It was close. All right. Let's get into Thursday. And once again, we don't know what's going to happen with COVID. So, I mean, some guys are going on the COVID list again today, and we're just going to try and work around it and do the best we can here on this Wednesday night. So, San Fran is at the Tennessee Titans. San Francisco's a -3.5. We already differ. I'm taking the Niners, and you're taking the Titans.
Yeah, I thought about it. I've been against San Fran a lot this year, I feel like, and I'm going against them again. But I do respect them. I mean, I think they're a very good offense and they're a very good team as a whole. And they're starting to creep up in the standings a little bit and make some noise in that NFC playoff picture. But it is 3.5 points on the road against a Tennessee team that I still view pretty good, even though they lost to the Steelers. I think every single week without Derrick Henry, they're going to get a little bit better offensively because they're going to start to learn, how to work around it. And that's a big piece to lose. We know that. And they've really struggled offensively since. But in prime time, I have to think that this game's going to be close. Tennessee is fighting for a playoff spot, just like San Fran is, right? They're fighting for that 1 seed, trying to get up there again. So it's not like Tennessee has nothing to play for. I know San Fran probably has more to play for at this point, lock themselves in the playoffs here. But man, I like Tennessee possibly losing by a field goal here and me still winning. So I'm going to take Tennessee plus the 3.5 at home at Thursday night. I've been pretty good on Thursday night, and I feel like the spreads are relatively close when it's close games like this against really, really good teams. So I'm gonna take them plus 3.5.
Well, you are the Thursday night guy, so
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna end up being wrong here by half a point. But I just don't like you said. You feel the Titans is a good team right now. I just don't. I don't know what like. They're just not that good to me. Like without Henry, I don't think AJ Brown's playing, although he's activated, but I don't know if he'll play. We know Julio Jones is done for the year now. It's like I just don't know where they get their offense from. And the Niners defense is still pretty good. It's like league average right now, I feel like. Let me look real quick. They're like league average. They're actually top 10 in against the pass and total yards. So I guess they're a little better than average. But yeah, the Niners defense still gets it done. And the way that offense has been moving the ball lately, with Debo, of course. Debo is like a running back, by the way. So Debo Samuel is just such a fun guy to watch. And, if as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be a great player. But we saw Brandon Ayuk and Kittle keep getting involved. Garoppolo's looking pretty good lately. So, I just think this team keeps it rolling against a Titans team that's kind of out of resources, in my opinion. So they have not looked that great lately. They've lost some pretty easy games, I feel like, in the past month or so. So I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, of course. Titans are home, so that kind of scares me. I wish it was 3, not 3.5. But hey,
Yeah.
I think the Niners are a much better team right now, so I'm going to take San Fran there. Cleveland at Green Bay. Cleveland kind of has their season on the line here. Green Bay is a -7, though. And for the third week in a row, I'm going to take the Browns, who will probably break my heart again. They'll lose by 7.5 somehow, because why not? That's probably what they would do to me. And you're going to take Green Bay.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least you don't get that half a point this time. It'll probably get there eventually during the week. So if you do want to actually bet Cleveland during the week, it would be funny to see you lose by half a point again. But yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay because, like you said about the Titans, I think the Browns are very similar, at least offensively. They're struggling constantly, and I'm not going to hype you up and say it's because of the loss of OBJ. It's just simply because Baker Mayfield is either not as good as we thought he was, or he's just hurt. Right, and that whole team is struggling because he's struggling, and he had COVID last week, and they had to start Nick Mullins because obviously Case Keenum was on the COVID list as well. But I think they're going to get those pieces back this week. I'm pretty sure. But again, I really don't think it matters because their offense has struggled that much, even with Baker on the field. Green Bay's fighting for that one seed, right? And they finally got it. Like they're there right now because Arizona lost and now they're below. I think they keep it going here. This is a little much, but it is Green Bay at home at Lambeau Field, so I do feel comfortable about that. I don't know what the spread would be if the game was in Cleveland, but I'm not going to bet against Green Bay here. They're one of the best teams against the spread. This Cleveland team just really hasn't proven much to me. The only thing Cleveland's really had going for them is their defense. Their defense has been able to keep them in games. This is one of the best offenses in the NFL. I expect Green Bay to score a lot of points, and I just don't know if the Browns are going to be able to keep up. So I'll take Green Bay minus the 7.
I actually forgot Green Bay was home. I kind of want to switch, but I'm keeping it. Screw it. We're keeping it.
All right, nice.
I just think that they played pretty well against the Raiders for what they had. Nick Mullins with the big play at the end there. So that was good to see. They should get a lot of guys back, though. We know how many guys Cleveland was missing due to COVID. So they had a couple offensive linemen out. Their two quarterbacks were out. No Jarvis Landry, no Austin Hooper. Bunch of guys on defense, I believe. So yeah, I mean, they should get a lot of players back on this team, and I just feel like it's 7 points is a lot. And this Browns team, I still think roster wise is pretty good. Obviously, with Baker Mayfield not being close to 100%, it's not what they were last year, but I don't know. I just feel like this is going to be a close game because they know their season's on the line. I think the Browns were in such a weird scenario because if they won last week, they would have been like the 4 seed. And if they lost, they would have been the 12 seed. So they lost. Now they're the 12 seed. So it was a very big game for them against the Raiders. But Stefanski should be back, and I think they'll play harder for him. I just don't think they go down this easily. So I'm not going to rule out the fact that the Packers are probably going to win this game, but they might do it by 3, 4, 6 points, and then I would win the spread. So I think Cleveland keeps it close. I don't know. I don't have much confidence in that pick, but they have burnt me many times this year, so you'll probably end up being right there. Next, we're on to the Indianapolis Colts at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona's a -1 here at home. And you wanted to change your pick, it seemed like, but you're sticking with
Yeah.
it. I'm taking the Colts, and you're taking the Cardinals.
Yeah, it pains me to do this because I've been so high on the Colts all year long. I knew they were going to turn it around, and they have. And I made the point last week, they've played a ton of really, really good teams this year and have been competitive in most of those games. And last week you saw they beat the Pats. I mean, defensively, that was probably their best game of the year, at least early on, to get themselves a lead and to kind of coast the rest of the game. It did get a little close at the end, but they did pull away, obviously. I'm taking Arizona here because – like the Packers, I mean, they're still fighting for that 1 seed and they're still fighting for a playoff spot. They just lost to the Lions. I mean, imagine the frustration in that locker room right there. The Lions haven't played like a 1 in whatever team, even though that's what their record was against Arizona last week, but they still lost to a 1 in whatever team, right? So they got to be foaming at the mouth. While on the other hand, the Colts are trying to ride this wave that maybe I don't think they'll be able to at least this week, right? Now they're at the top. People are starting to notice that this is a legit team. They have a playoff spot. I think this is a spot where Arizona wins. I mean, they're at home. They haven't played very well at home as compared to on the road, but they did lose to the Lions on the road. So I think it's a crapshoot either way. I think they play a really good game here. I think they want this game badly, and they know who's coming to town. The Colts are a hot team, like I mentioned. So I think Arizona pulled this one out. I feel like I've picked against Arizona a lot this year. I just never really thought they were as good as their record showed, but after a loss like that to the Lions, I got to believe that they bounce back here and win by more than a point. It's basically a pick 'em here. So I think Arizona's going to win the game at home.
Yeah, the way I look at this game is pretty simple. I think the Cardinals just were pretty lost without DeAndre Hopkins. Like their offense just did not look right, and Kyler Murray didn't look right, and James Conner didn't look right, and all three guys I feel like are dealing with injuries. Obviously, Hopkins he's not playing, but Connor was kind of banged up heading into this week, and same with Kyler Murray. And how many points did they put up against the Lions? Was it like 13, 14? Like it wasn't
Yeah, it
many.
was. Yeah, it was not. It was not. It
It was
was
just not a
below
good,
20.
yeah, not a good showing for them. Like they had that late touchdown to Kirk, I remember, but still, like their offense just didn't look right. And we know this Colts defense is pretty respectable for the most part. And the one way you can exploit the Cardinals defense, because they are good against the pass on the season, but the one way you can exploit them is running the ball. And what did the Colts do very well offensively? Run the ball. So I think it's just a good matchup for them. I know they're the road team here, but I was actually coming into this when I saw this matchup, I figured the Colts were going to be favored. So when I saw Arizona was favored, I was like, huh, All right,
right?
interesting. Let me take the Colts. So I could be wrong. Maybe this hot streak ends here. Maybe teams are starting to notice them, and maybe they figure out how to stop Jonathan Taylor. I don't know. But until someone does it, I can't go against this. So we're sticking with the Colts here, and you're going to go with the Cardinals. Now, on to a game that probably is going to suck. Maybe it's good. I don't know. The Detroit Lions are at the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's a -4. My brother, Falcons fan, said don't take the Falcons, but I did some research on the injury report for the Lions. They have a lot of guys out, and Jared Goff might be on the COVID list. So with that said, I'm taking not Arizona. I'm taking Atlanta, and you're going to take the Detroit Lions.
I'm gonna ride the wave. I mean, I know the last time that they won, they got destroyed by the Broncos, but that was after the whole Demarius Thomas thing. The Broncos had a lot to play for in that game. I think that was a more emotional game from the Broncos than anything. I'm taking Detroit here because I just don't think Atlanta's very good, and I almost feel like Atlanta's kind of flattened in a way now because they were in the middle of the playoff race last week, and even though and then they lost the last week, and then now they're still 6-8, right? But they're kind of out of it now. It
Yeah.
seems like because there's a ton of 7-7, 8-6 teams in the NFC right now. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure Atlanta's still going to keep the high hopes because there's still a path for them to make the playoffs. But man, I just think Detroit wants to ride the wave. They're like, look, we're not in control of this one seed anymore, or the first overall pick. I mean, let's just see what we can do, right? And Dan Campbell's that kind of coach where like they're not going to tank. They're going to try every single game, and I just don't think Atlanta's very good. The one thing about Atlanta that has pushed them over the edge compared to some of the other bad teams in the league is they've been able to score points offensively. And Detroit, for the most part, has been able to do the same thing. Now, Jared Goff doesn't play. That obviously hurts me big time because for what Jared Goff's had in that offense, he's played like very, very well, considering very underrated. So I'm going to take Detroit plus the 4 on the road. I don't really think home field advantage is that big of a thing in Atlanta, to be honest with you. I think Detroit goes and they keep this game close. I probably wouldn't pick this game if I knew Jared Goff was officially out, but we'll see how it goes. I'll run it. I'll run with it, and we'll take Detroit here. Maybe they win.
I want a one-word answer, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Is Jared Goff the quarterback for the Lions week 1 next year?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. All right, yeah, I have no idea, so I'm kind of curious what
Okay.
happens there.
There you
Obviously not the best quarterback draft from what we've heard. So yeah, with Atlanta, I mean, I think they're gonna bounce back coming off that bad loss against the 49ers. They see an opponent here that is not that good. I know they play hard and they've kept games within 10 points more times than not in their past, 10 games or so. So they've been a competitive team. So I will say that. You mentioned the Broncos game, an emotional one for Denver, but I just think Atlanta can put up points here. I really do. Like, I just don't see much on the Lions defense. Like, they have some players that have stepped up this year that nobody really expected to, which is a nice story and all. But, Matt Ryan, a veteran quarterback, still playing pretty well. Had one or two awful games this year, but for the most part, Matt Ryan's been fine. And, a guy like Russell Gage is stepping up for that team now. And I'm sure that Cordero Patterson's going to have a big day against this defense that, looking at the Lions defense, it's not that good. 29th and third down percentage. They're 26th in giving up points. They're 28th in rushing yards, 25th in passing yards. It's a beatable defense. Let's be honest. And I just feel like the veteran quarterback, Matt Ryan here, can outduel Tim Boyle, who might be the quarterback for the
go.
Lions on Sunday. It's kind of what I'm hoping for. But even that, even without that, there's no TJ Hawkinson. At this point, why bring back DeAndre Swift? I mean, what's the point? Jamal Williams was out last week. They have this Reynolds guy at running back who's actually kind of good, but it's a lot worse than DeAndre Swift, let's be
Right.
honest. So I'm kind of curious where they get their offense from. Although Amon-Ra St. Brown's been killing it lately. Fantasy team
Yeah.
shout out. Even Josh Reynolds, his former Rams teammate's been okay, but I don't know. I just think Atlanta puts up a good amount of points here, and I just don't know whether Jared Goff or Tim Boyle can catch up there. So I think Atlanta wins by like 7 or 10 points. I'm going to go with that, especially at home.
I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Did you have Amon Ra on your Eagle Miracle team?
No, it's the one league I did not have him. No.
Okay. Because I was going
But
to say, like, you needed the Miracle plus the Amon Ra breakout game. It was like a whole lot happened there.
I mean, that league had so many guys crap the bed. Najee, Kamara, Gronk, Suckup had -1. It's just a rough week. But I did start St. Brown over Julio Jones like last minute, like 12:50, and that won me the week. So thank God I made that decision.
Over who?
Julio Jones. Speaking of
Wait,
the
what?
Falcons,
Wait, how?
what do you mean
Oh, wait, I'm,
how?
I'm so confused. Oh, never mind. Okay, never mind. Never mind.
I had Julio Jones in my flex, and then I benched him at 12:50 for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I don't understand. Julio Jones didn't play.
He did play.
What are you talking
He
about?
played in the game and then hurt his hamstring against the Steelers. Then he was out.
Oh,
Yes.
wait, hold on. Last week?
He was active for the Steelers game,
I
yes.
did not know that. Okay, I'm
Well,
sorry.
should have known. No, I would not start an inactive guy. Although I did that once this year when I woke up at 120. All right. On to oh boy. On to the New York Giants. I cannot wait till the season's over. Oh, they're at the Philadelphia Eagles. I forgot. Oh boy. Wow. Interesting. All right. Philadelphia is a -10. And it's funny, the Giants fans taking the Eagles and the Eagles fans taking the Giants. So let's explain ourselves here.
Oh, oh, yeah, that's actually kind of weird. No, Philly's going to win the game, no doubt. I just think the uncertainty of Jake Fromm
Oh,
is going to somehow keep this game relatively close at times, right? And we've seen the Eagles kind of be turnover happy. I mean, yesterday with the heel thing, that's not turnover happy. I don't consider that. But Jalen Hurts is at times loose with the football, and they don't have Nick Sirianni this week, it looks like, right? And that's a guy that emotionally connects to these players. I know that because I pay attention to this whole thing. I don't know if you saw the video, but after that Jalen Hurts fumble, I mean, Nick Sirianni was on his ass. Like he was screaming at him. Like so to not have that kind of connection between coach and quarterback on a Sunday, I don't really like it that much. I just don't think, and I think this thing could spread too, right? Like if the coach has it, who knows how many players can be on the list and stuff like that. So I think 10 is a little much for a team that could be have a lot of COVID people this week. A lot of people on the COVID list, I should say. So I'm going to take the Giants. Philly's going to win the game. They just at this point have more to play for. I know Joe Judge is fighting for his job or whatever, but the Giants, they're on to Jake Fromm at this point, right? So it'd be a little disappointing if the Eagles didn't win this game. I hope they absolutely crush the Giants. I would totally take a spread loss here. I just don't think that's going to be the case. Whether it's a backdoor cover or this game is kind of close throughout, I don't think the Philly covers the 10 points. So I'm going to take the Giants plus 10.
I thought I was going to get a Jake Fromm cover last week when he came in the Cowboys game. The
Oh, it was
Giants were
very
down.
close.
They were down 24-6, and I think the Giants were like a plus 10.5. And like we were so close to getting that back door, but Fromm came up short there at the end. Yeah, the one problem with this game and why it's difficult to pick is Jake Fromm. Like we don't know who he is going to be for a full game. Obviously, when someone comes in the final minute against prevent defense, he's going to look great. And now Giants fans are kind of hyping this guy up to be like, I heard some people say the next Tom Brady. I'm like, oh my gosh, please.
Wow.
But listen, I mean, Jake Fromm, it's going to be fun to watch him because we know who Mike Lennon is. He's the worst. So new quarterback's fun, but the Giants offense is they're like unwatchable. They're just not good at all. And your Eagles have, I think, the best rushing attack in football? Question mark. Yes,
Yeah.
the best rushing attack in
7
football.
straight games with 175 plus rushing yards.
Yeah, we're just not going to stop that. Like the Cowboys did a good job running the ball against us last week, and the Giants defense is 26th against the run this year. So it's going to be a rough game against the run. And like, let's be honest, Jalen Hurts, I thought for the most part looked really good yesterday. Can I say
had
that?
one of his best games yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he had the
fumble.
The
but that interception doesn't.
No, it doesn't count. I mean, it counts, but it's
right.
That was Landon Collins, by the way, former Giant. That was funny, but yeah,
he ran that offense very well yesterday.
Yeah,
especially being down 10 points like that early. He ran that offense.
It felt like every time the Eagles got in a third and short, like they were automatically going to get it. Like they were killing them with the RPOs and the read options and Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard up the middle.
Yeah.
I saw Miles Sanders has a quad injury, so if he's out, that could really impact the game. But it wouldn't shock me as a Giants fan if is Boston Scott eligible to play yet? Because that's a guy.
He's probably going to be. We had the same Miles Sanders thing last time they played, right? Like Miles Sanders got hurt early in the game or something like that.
Yeah,
we didn't play.
Yeah,
what a shame.
Yeah, so Giants offense
still ran for over 200 yards in that game.
All right, whatever. Giants offense not good. I need Hurts to put up 30 more fantasy points, so he's welcome to do that again in the semifinals here for me. But yeah, I can't pick I can't pick the Giants right now. Can't do it. Sorry. But Andrew is picking the Giants, so we'll see what happens there.
I have one more question for you now.
Oh boy. One
One
word.
word. I want a one word answer, not a one word
Sure.
question.
Give me a one word question. Let's see how that goes.
um, is Jalen Hurts the long term Eagle starter?
Ah, what counts as long term?
All right, let me ask you. Let me rephrase.
Is he here 3 years from now?
Is Jalen Hurts the starting quarterback at the start of 2023?
Oh,
So he's make it past this year, next year, and then starts 2023.
wow. Yes.
Oh
I really
wow!
have no freaking clue. I'm gonna be honest. No clue.
Yeah, we're
It's a
gonna have
great question.
Bryce Young by then.
Yeah, right. If someone wants to comment on that question, go ahead because that really was a good question in my
Doesn't
opinion.
have to
Good
be
job.
one word.
Sure. Um, Jacksonville. Oh, this is another great one. Jacksonville is at the Jets. The Jets are a -2 here at home. Robert Saleh, the Jets head coach, is positive for COVID, so maybe no Mr. Clean on the sidelines there. That would suck. But I'm taking the Jets because I can't stand Jacksonville anymore. And if they win this game, I swear to
Oh,
gosh, I'm gonna
Mike.
be mad.
Oh,
I'm gonna be
this
mad.
is the game. This is the
No,
game you picked Jacksonville.
nope. Well,
They're
Andrew's taking Jacksonville,
Yeah, if it
obviously.
wasn't quite obvious. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jacksonville +2 here. I love it. And look, I'm a fan of Zach Wilson. I don't know if I've made that clear on here. I think he is going to be a solid NFL starter at some point. He just needs to figure his stuff out. And I don't think he figures it out in this game. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Robert Saleh not being in that office all week long could affect him there. He is a rookie, so things are going to happen. There is a rookie on the other side that's probably dealt with the most colluded and terrible and whatever you want to call it offense the whole year, or team
Justin
for that
Fields.
matter. No, Trevor Lawrence has just been in the thick of everything that's not his problem, if that makes sense. He's been the forefront of other people's problems the whole time, and there's kind of a pressure on him now to maybe go out there and perform, and he has to perform against a team like this because their defense is not good. And Trevor Lawrence has obviously the capability to do that. We've seen it all the time in college. He has the talent, has the arm talent. This is the team to do it against, and I think he does. And I think Jacksonville gets the win here. I just think the Jets, like the Giants, which is a common occurrence in New York nowadays in football, have nothing to play for at this time of year. So, and neither does Jacksonville, but at the same time, Jacksonville, I feel like, needs to start seeing more from Trevor Lawrence quicker than the Jets need to see more from Zach Wilson, if that makes sense. And I think this is the spot to do it. So Jacksonville +2, they win the game on the road, book it.
That part did not make sense. Why do you think Jacksonville has to see more from Lawrence than the Jets do Wilson? I would argue
Because
otherwise.
I think there was more pressure on Trevor Lawrence to produce right away than there was pressure on Zach Wilson to produce right away. Given that Trevor Lawrence has played at Clemson against all the top defenses his whole career, has been the assumed first overall pick for about 2 years, right before he was even drafted. When Zach Wilson kind of came out of the blue, was a BYU quarterback,
Pun
had some.
intended?
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
that
Look
was
at that.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just feel like he needs to spring faster than Zach
My
Wilson.
argument
Not
though
saying Zach
is
Wilson doesn't, but
yeah, my argument is that the Jacksonville market versus New York market's not even close. That's why I think more pressure's on Wilson. But
yeah, but I do feel like more people in the New York media are giving him the benefit of the doubt. To
eh,
be honest with you, because I feel like
eh,
they understand, like, because he is still in that rookie phase. Like, everybody can go back to it. He's a rookie. He's a rookie. Take it easy. You know what I mean? And he's one of the most
sure.
unexperienced rookies in the draft. At such a high level, and he was thrown into the. I mean, do you know what happened with their quarterback coach? I mean, they had like an all-time like quarterback coach that died in July,
Oh yeah,
and
that's right.
and and
Yeah.
and now he's been just thrown in the middle of everything, and he didn't have any veteran presence there to guide him for most
That's
of the
their own
season.
fault.
So
The Jets.
it
This is
is.
no, the craziest stat I've heard like this offseason was that the most passing attempts on the Jets roster coming into this year was Jamison Crowder, wide receiver. Like
Wow.
that was crazy to me. Of
Yeah,
course,
that is nuts.
Mike White actually turned out being not that bad, and Josh Johnson. Everyone loves Josh Johnson, but yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't know why I'm taking the Jets. It's more of just I hate Jacksonville at this point, and I really thought because when we recorded, I think it was the night of Urban Meyer getting fired. So like right after we recorded, we found out Meyer was let go, and
Yeah, it was like at midnight
I
too.
felt so good about
Yeah.
the Jaguars. I'm like, oh, they're freaking gonna, kill the Texans. New head coach, got rid of that guy, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
My concern though is that James Robinson just goes stupid against this run defense because
Oh,
he
he
can.
might.
He can. He might have 24 carries for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Remember that touchdown Robinson had with the fan in the end zone last week? That was funny.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
They wanted to stop the play, but they called it, and they're like, all right, I guess it counts. But they had 12 men on the field, but one of them was a fan, so it doesn't matter. Anyway,
It's like when you have you ever seen those like old clips of like people hitting home runs and they're trying to make it around the bases and they're
yeah.
just getting like clogged by
Who was the
fans.
Yankee guy?
Was it was
Jeez.
it Reggie Jackson?
No, it was like something Chambliss. Oh man, no, I
But
don't know.
there are a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
clips of that where like they can't even make it home.
Yeah, I did see him like tackling fans. It's funny. All right, so yeah, I'm taking the Jets because I think Zach Wilson's been weird. He's had good halves of football, not a full
Yeah.
game, and it has to come at some point. And Jacksonville doesn't get the most pressure in the world. They're like I think 20 something in pressure, like low 20s. So the Jets' offensive line can hopefully hold up in this matchup. And just Wilson needs a game to finally put it together. I like having interim head coaches. Well, like just one game filling head coaches because they just don't give a damn. Like they'll go for it on fourth down. They know like this is not my head coaching job. What do I care? So they'll be extra aggressive. And I think the more you go for it on fourth down and 50-50 situations, the more it benefits you. So I like the Jets in that situation. So I don't know. It's two bad teams. The Jets are home, right? The Jets are the home
Yeah.
team. So I do like that part of it. And I don't know, Jacksonville is just really bad at football. I don't know how else to say it. Not that the Jets are much better, but at least the Jets are like kind of competent on offense sometimes. Like, I don't know.
Jets have shown an ability. Yeah, 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 for sure.
Like the Jets average basically 4 more points per game on offense. That's a lot for a per game
I'm
basis.
gonna, you know what? Actually, I was gonna say something. So I'm gonna record this game because I want to watch. I don't think I've watched Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson in full this year.
We should
Like
watch
actually,
together and make
just like
notes. I think we should do
yeah,
it.
literally just like sat down and just watched them play. Like I see like the stats at the end of the game, obviously, but yeah, I think I'm going to do that this week. The one game I actually did see Zach Wilson was the Eagle game, and he looked
Mhm.
pretty good in that first half.
Oh, yeah.
Like he actually did. He looked pretty good in that first half. So
I
we'll
remember I
see.
picked the Eagles. I wasn't feeling good about that spread, but we finally got it done.
Yeah,
Speaking of Lawrence, I feel like people that are out on Trevor Lawrence are crazy, and they'll be proven
nuts,
very wrong.
crazy nuts. Yeah,
I mean,
nuts.
I don't know who the head coach is going to be next year, but if it's someone like decent, I feel like Lawrence is going to be fine. All right, on to Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a shutout. Tom Brady's pissed. They're at the Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay on the roads a minus 10.5. And I feel like no human in the world is going to take the Panthers, which is why I'm going to take the Panthers, and you're going to take Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah. You're probably right. The splits on this are probably kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people like Tampa Bay revenge after that crappy week last week. It was really it was hard to watch. The guy gets shut out for the first time in 15 years, and I mean 15 years. And he's 29, which is also kind of crazy to think about. Like 15 years ago, he was 29, so I mean he's 44. It's kind of wild. Yeah, I think Tampa Bay is going to crush him. And I think this was my argument for Tom Brady last week, and you could say I'm making excuses for Tom Brady. Maybe I shouldn't make excuses for the GOAT, whatever you want to say. When you have 2 weeks of practice with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, or did Mike Evans get hurt in that game? He did, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Leonard Fournette at your side, and not even just the 2 weeks, the whole entire season, for them to be ripped away from you in the first quarter, it's a hard adjustment to make. I still think they should have been able to score some type of points offensively, but they get AB back this week, which is a big get back, especially after all those injuries last week. So Mike Evans is going to play. I mean, Rojo's not a terrible backup running back.
I don't know if Mike Evans is going to play.
Mike Evans not going to play?
I don't know. Like, why rush it? If it's a hamstring issue that
All right,
lingers,
it's fair.
why play him against the Panthers? I don't get it.
Well, then should I start Antonio Brown in fantasy across the board?
Probably. If he practices full this week, I would. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take Tampa Bay here because you have to think that Tom Brady is going to come back firing this week against a Carolina team that he could really put in the dirt. I mean, this Carolina team is not good at all. It's not too much of a travel. I mean, it's a little bit north of I shouldn't say a little bit, but it's like probably like a 2-hour flight north of Tampa Bay. So
all right, social studies. Let's go.
So it's not like they're traveling really really far, and Tampa fans travel pretty well. So I'm going to take them on the road minus 10.5. It might be stupid of me, it might be really smart of me. I might come back here and look like a really really smart guy. But yeah, you just give Tom Brady a full week of practice with guys he's actually going to be throwing to. I think he'll have some success offensively. So I'm going to trust that their defense is going to be able to shut down whoever is playing quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, and I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm looking at the schedule now. The Panthers have lost 4 spreads in a row, and eventually that stuff evens out. Like,
Yeah.
the water finds its level, whatever the hell the saying is. So eventually the Panthers are going to get this on track. But the reason I am taking the Panthers is because, well, A, because I don't think anyone's taking them, but B, it's because on the season, they have the second best pass defense in the NFL. So you have that. It's kind of a Stephon Gilmore revenge game if you think about it, because he was once teammates with Tom Brady, if you want to put that narrative out there. So you have that
Stop.
going for us. You have, once again, really good pass defense against a Tom Brady offense that I don't think is going to have, well, Godwin's out, obviously. That screwed my fantasy season for me, by the way. I had Godwin and Brady. That's like losing 2 guys. I was pissed. Anyway, so we have Mike Evans probably out, I would think. Godwin out, and Gronk was dropping a lot of passes last week. Very odd. Anyway, so Antonio Brown coming back, yes, it'll help, but Brown hasn't played in like legit 2 months, maybe more. So I don't know if he'll come back and just like be great right away. So you're looking at a situation where you have guys like Tyler Johnson, Jalen Darden, Brashad Perriman trying to beat this good
Scotty
secondary.
Miller.
Scotty Miller. There you go. So I just don't think the Buccaneers put up a ton of points. And, I know that the Panthers offense is god awful. They're really tough to watch. I think like they might be as bad as the Giants these days, but at least they score. It's just watching their offense is the tough part. But in recent weeks, they put up 21. They had a 10-point game, but 21, 14. I mean, it's not bad. 2 21-point games and a 14-point game. Like if they just do that, I think they'll cover, because I don't think Tampa's scoring over 24 in this game. I don't see it. That could
What's
be
the
wrong.
over under in this game?
I can answer that in just a second.
Yeah, I
44.
want 44.
It's
So
pretty low, right? Kind of. Yeah,
yeah.
sort of. And Tampa doesn't run the ball very well. So is Ronald Jones going to be that guy? Like, I don't think so. So I
So
have questions.
if you think Tampa Bay is going to score over, I'm not saying you think this, I'm just saying hypothetically. If you think Tampa Bay is going to score over 24 and you take minus 10.5, you can't lose.
Exactly.
It's a win-win. Well, it's a win-loss, but it could be a win-win.
I can't lose.
Can't be a
That's what it
loss.
sounds like. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's call it 24-20. Buccaneers win. All right. On to the Los Angeles Chargers. I think we're there, right? Let me look at the board. Los Angeles Chargers are
Yeah,
at the Houston Texans. Los Angeles is a minus 9.5 on the road. I saw that Austin Eckler's on the COVID list, so that's not good. But I think as long as they have Herbert and some receivers, I think they win this game by a lot. I'm taking the Chargers, and you're taking the Texans. Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking the Texans because I think like Davis Mills, you could argue production-wise, has been the second best rookie quarterback in the draft. I mean, and that's an unbelievable thing to think about. It's unbelievable to think that he had to start given the whole situation with Deshaun Watson in the offseason. But Houston
What
has
happened
shown
to
an
Deshaun
ability to
Watson?
score points. It's a long story, Mike. Let's not get into that.
All right.
It's the Christmas season. Let's take it easy.
Uh,
Yeah. So they've shown an ability to score points, unlike teams with their similar record. Like you see the teams that have similar records to the Texans, they don't score a lot and their defense suck. And I'm not saying Houston's defense is awesome, but they do have a little bit of pass rush going on there, and their offense can score. So at home against an LA Charger team that I know is kind of in win now mode right now, right? They need to win. They need to secure a spot in the playoffs, and their team is good enough to do it. I just don't think they cover 9.5 on the road. I haven't seen it consistently enough from the Chargers to say that they could cover a spread like this on the road, even against a team like the Texans. I'm purely basing this off of the fact that the Texans could put up some points here. I think that the Texans put up like 20 points, which I think they're totally capable of doing. I think they don't lose this spread. So I'm gonna bank on that. I'm gonna bank on Davis Mills here or Tyrod Taylor, either one. I think they'll be able to score points with both. And Davis Mills is the starter for the rest of the year. No, is that the announcement that came out?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then Davis Mills it is. I'll take them plus the 9.5, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. I mean, the thing I looked at for this game was like, we know the best way to beat the Chargers defense is running the ball, but the Texans are the worst team at running the ball. So we have one of the worst defenses against the run, against the worst rushing offense in football. So when you look at the way to beat the Chargers, I don't think the Texans can do that. And then you're putting a lot on Davis Mills, who, I like the guy, but I just don't think he can go out there and have a great game against the Chargers secondary that I guess isn't that bad. Like, by the numbers, they're pretty good this year. So, I mean, I don't think their secondary is that bad. I hope Asante Samuel Jr. is back eventually, so we could get him back. Not we, but I can get him back. So, and also for the Chargers offense, I have no doubts they can score on the Texans defense. Like, they put up a lot of points. There's a lot of passing attempts, and Justin Herbert's a star. We know that. Even Justin Jackson, if he has to fill in for Austin Eckler, I think Jackson had like 13 carries for 86 yards or something last week. He was fine. So he can fill in there and be okay. He'll be fine. You have Keenan Allen. You have Mike Williams. You have your guys, Jared Cooks. So they'll be all right. I think they'll put up a lot of points offensively. I know that they're on the road here, but it's a dome. I like that. Fast track here for a good offense. And I just don't think the Texans keep up. So I'll go with the Chargers there. But,
all right. Another question.
Uh-oh.
One-word answer.
Yep.
Will Davis Mills be the starter in 2022? And don't say yes because they have a game in January. That doesn't count.
That would be a good answer. Wow.
You create some great questions here.
I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, who are they going to take?
Right.
Nobody.
I agree. Nobody. I agree with you.
I mean,
I think they have more pressing needs.
Yeah, like the GM Casario. That was the first pick he ever had as Texans GM, I believe, because they didn't have a pick in the first 2 rounds because, thanks to Bill O'Brien.
Great success.
Yeah. So Davis Mills is his guy right now. Let's ride it out. Let's see what happens next year. I mean, maybe 2023 they get a new guy because I don't think Davis Mills is like a franchise quarterback. No, but he's a serviceable bottom 10 type starter type guy.
All right. Another question.
Uh-oh.
Will Deshaun Watson be on the Texans at the start of the 2022 season?
No chance.
No. Okay.
No,
right.
I don't see it. I don't know where he's going, but I don't see it. On to, here we go. Good rematch here. Hopefully there's no 50-mile-per-hour winds this time. The Buffalo Bills are at the New England Patriots here. Big game. New England is a -2.5 on the road here, and we're both taking Buffalo.
Yes, Mike. I love it. I was just anticipating whether you were going to take that or not. I was waiting. I was excited to hear your pick. Yeah, I think Buffalo's the pick here, Mike. I don't know if I have to do you any convincing because you did pick Buffalo. But, I mean, it took 50-mile-an-hour winds last time and snow for the Patriots to just get by, the Bills. We didn't see anything from Mac Jones throwing the football. This is the best defense he's going to go up against all year, and we didn't even get to see him throw the ball because of those winds, right? And then he goes and he faces a pretty good defense against the pass in the Indianapolis Colts, and he struggles. He struggles, and that was the reason they lost the game. And Indianapolis didn't even play that well offensively. They were just creating things off of Mac Jones's turnovers. Buffalo's going to win this game on the road. Our friend Colin, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. We're doubting your Patriots again. We were right last time. We're going to be right this time. Buffalo is going into Foxborough. They have more to play for in this game. I mean, they were probably really, really hurting after that loss to not just because it was cold out, but because they lost to their division rival and lost the division lead in that game. It means more to Buffalo. They're going to storm into the Gillette, and they're going to take down Bill Belichick, Mac Jones, and the Patriots. Book it. This might be my favorite bet, Mike. I really think Buffalo's going to go in there and win the game. It might not be because of the uncertainty of the New England Patriots this year. They can go out and ball out. I've seen it before. But I'll tell you what, it's heading that way. Give me Buffalo plus 2.5.
I have a question. So on last week's show, when you called your brother, wasn't one of the rules don't bet against Bill Belichick at home, or was it Belichick and Brady at home?
Belichick and Brady.
Oh, so it doesn't
Belichick
apply.
And Brady. Does not
Uh,
apply.
I wanted to ask you this. So I'm looking at the matchup on the PFF, and they give like advanced spreads. What do you think the advanced spread is for the Patriots Jaguars next week? The Patriots are the home team. What do you think it is? Because it's insane. I did not think it'd be like this crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah,
Minus 14 and a half.
higher.
Minus 16 and a half.
There you go. Minus 16 and a half.
Oh,
Oh, man.
wow. Oh,
That's
my
rough.
God.
That's actually
Yeah,
rough.
that's going to change. They're going to lose this. That's going to change. Jacksonville's going to win. Buffalo's going to win. It'll get down to 13, 13 and a half. Go back to this clip when it's 13 and a half and we're picking that game next week.
We'll see. Well, the Jets are going to win, so we're good. Yeah, I mean, this is a game that I just don't think we got to see a fair matchup last time. Not to make excuses, but when your quarterback throws the ball 3 times, it's like, what is this? Like what's going on here? And if they didn't have that long Damian Harris touchdown, I mean, I don't think the Patriots win that game. So, credit to them for stopping the Bills in the red zone when they had to. But I think the Bills are a pretty well coached team, and they're going to realize how dumb they were to rush Josh Allen 3 times in that game. And I think they used Josh Allen's legs more in this matchup. And I think Josh Allen last year, when they played the Patriots on the road, like Josh Allen went crazy. So he's done it before. This is not like, oh, Bill Belichick's definitely going to shut down Josh Allen. Yes, they had a lot of guys on the COVID list last year, the Patriots that didn't play last year, but he's went to New England before Josh Allen and has put up some big numbers. So these teams are close in my opinion, but as you mentioned, I think Buffalo does have more to play for. I mean, right now they're the 8-6 team. New England's 9-5, but they play Jacksonville next week, so they'll get to 10 wins eventually. But as for Buffalo, I mean, look, they're kind of fighting for a playoff spot still, which is crazy to think about. And as I said, I think they're well coached. And I mentioned Josh Allen playing well against the Patriots last year in New England. I just think they win the game. I think you're right. I mean, I don't know. I don't like how confident we are about this. I feel like both of us are not going to be right somehow, but I just think the Bills win the game. So their defense can get it done. Mac Jones has not looked great in recent weeks. So, yeah, give me the
I just simply think if he's forced to throw against this Bills defense, he's going to struggle. And we got an unfair rap last time in this matchup because the Bills can't run the ball.
I want to see what the Bills have been doing defensively since they lost Tre'Davious White. So they gave up 14 to the Patriots. That was a win game, but gave up 33 to the Buccaneers, and then they gave up 14 to Carolina. So we haven't really seen like a fair game yet of how the secondary looks without Trey White, but we'll find out this game, hopefully. So, all right, on to the Los Angeles Rams are at the Minnesota Vikings here. The Vikings are kind of fighting for their playoff lives here as well. The Los Angeles Rams are a -3 on the road, and look at us. We're both taking the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, in his last few games, Kirk Cousins has not looked that great. And he was my number 9 on my top 10 quarterback, which is, I think I ranked that before the Steelers game. Yeah, I think it was before the Steelers game. And that's really kind of where he fell off. So maybe I did him a disservice there by putting him in the top 10. But I got to say, he's not looked good. And don't get me wrong. I mean, they've won both of the games he's not looked good in. But I think this is their test, right? This is where people are going to start to see how bad Kirk Cousins has really been playing these last 2 weeks, because he's going to go out there and have a similar game, but it's not going to have a similar outcome. And I need this game for my sake, for the Eagles to make the playoffs. The Vikings need to lose one of their next 2 games. This is the spot to do it. I mean, the Rams are a great team. They've shown an ability to come back and fight. And I think they win this game, and I think they win by more than 3. I don't think this is a really like a 3 spread. Which kind of makes me worried, kind of makes me want to go the other way, because I feel like we've had some close spreads with the Vikings here go the other way. So I don't know if this is a trap game. I don't think it is. I just think LA is simply the better team. They've shown me more consistently that they can win games and perform offensively and defensively than the Vikings. And it's not like Kirk Cousins has had these bad games against like really, really strong defenses. He did play the Steelers, right? But they went up kind of early in that game, and they were rolling for a while, and then he starts to turn the ball over and whatever. And then against the Bears, he struggled. Only had 84 passing yards, and then they struggled. So I don't think Kirk Cousins plays well in this game. I'm really banking on that, and I think LA wins by probably touchdown.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty much with you there. I think the Rams have finally figured it out. That's 3 good games in a row for them, 3 spreads covered in a row by the Rams, and they look good. They're back to that two-dimensional offense that could run the ball. And Matthew Stafford's finally looking comfortable. And making a hot take here, looking at the stats, Matthew Stafford has 35 passing touchdowns. I thought he had 36. Screw it. Matthew Stafford gets the 40 touchdowns this week. 5-touchdown game.
Wow.
I think
And you have to pick, Minnesota catches up with that.
No. I mean, they'll score
I
points, but
agree.
nah, not to that level. No, the Rams defense is a lot better. I mean, the Vikings defense is just not good. They just have really not been that good this year. So I really can't trust him to stop a good Rams offense right now. I think Stafford has a field day against this team. And Stafford has history in this stadium as a Detroit Lion playing at Minnesota plenty of times. So, he's been in
I
this
like that,
before.
Mike.
So
I like
there
that.
you go, thinking outside the box. Yeah, I like the Rams a lot in this game. So I think they win by 10 plus, and I think Matthew Stafford balls out. So
Woo!
yeah, let's go with that.
Lovely.
No, I don't feel that confident now because I said that. All right. Anyway, we have Baltimore at Cincinnati. Should be a good
Yep.
game here. Not Baltimore. Cincinnati is a -2.5. I have not picked Baltimore or Cincinnati right in like probably 2 months. I don't know who to pick in these games, but luckily we're picking the same team again. We're both taking
Nice. Good
the
for you.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bengals here because I just think they're the better team and they've been more consistent. And you might say that's like a bad statement, but I'm going to base it off of offensive consistency. And I don't know if Tyler Huntley's playing this week. I almost hope he's not, which is kind of weird to say at this point. I hope Lamar Jackson is playing. This pass rush, if Lamar Jackson is playing for the Bengals, is going to be the reason they win this game because – I don't know if you've seen the stats, but Lamar Jackson has had like the worst sack rate of his career, the most yards lost in his career. Teams are finally figuring out how to keep that guy in the pocket and force him to throw the ball, and it's not working out well for the Ravens.
I think it's because
Not at all.
Alejandro Villanueva is their left tackle and he's garbage. That's
He
probably why.
stinks. Yeah, well, you know what? That only helps me in this situation.
Yeah.
I think they somehow whatever it is, whatever the case may be, he's standing in the pocket, he's trying to make throws, and they're not happening on a consistent basis. While on the other side, we got a little bit of a gunslinger in Joe Burrow over there, who's playing phenomenal this year, in just his second year. Hopefully, this is the type of year Trevor Lawrence has in his second year, but I doubt it given the talent that they have on that team. But yeah, Joe Burrow's a gunslinger. I think Jamar Chase has a really, really strong game in this game. I think he plays really, really good football. And I should say strong game. A strong game for Jamar Chase is probably about 2 long touchdowns. I think that's what happens. I think they catch the secondary on 2 long touchdowns. He was really quiet last week, 1 reception for 3 yards. So I think he turns it around this week. He has some big touchdowns, and I think they win this division matchup. This is a big game for the Bengals. I think it's almost bigger in their minds than it is for Baltimore. Baltimore's going to be shell shocked after this game. They're going to look at their record and say, like, wait a minute, we're not in the playoffs right now. We're not going to make the playoffs. I think that's the case. Cincinnati -2.5. I love that they're getting a field goal in this game. I love it that a field goal could cover this spread. So I'm going to take them -2.5.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you. I mean, I think this is just a good matchup for Cincinnati. I mean, once again, I don't know how to pick either of these teams, but just looking at it right now, Baltimore has the best rush defense in football, but the Bengals might be without Joe Mixon, who has an ankle injury. So that would kind of incline them to pass the ball more. And Baltimore has the 31st pass defense this year. So look at that. We'll pass the ball more, right? I mean, I feel like Joe Mixon being out might help them, as bad as that sounds, because they'll be more inclined to pass the ball here in this matchup. So I can't even name a guy in the secondary for Baltimore. They have that Averett guy who's just not that good. I mean, that might be their best secondary player. Like, they have nobody. I mean, there's so many injuries right now for Baltimore secondary. And Joe Burrow should have a nice day. If Baltimore's pass rush gets there, that might be a problem. If we see more Joe Burrow turnovers, which we've seen this year, that could be a problem. But if Joe Burrow gets time and he's making his throws, I don't see a way that the Ravens keep up. And Cincinnati, they have the 4th best rush defense this year on defense. So if the Ravens want to win by running the ball, I don't think they can do that either. So I don't know. I don't know about the Tyler Huntley, Lamar Jackson thing. I don't know who I want at this point. I mean, I expect Lamar to play by this point, so we'll see. It's a big game, of course, for them. But I don't know. I think the matchup just goes right here for for Cincinnati, and I'm pretty sure that Trey Hendrickson goes against Villanueva. I want to look it up real quickly, but if that's the matchup, then hey, we're looking pretty good right there because I think he's had a sack in 10 straight games or something crazy like that. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I was kind of skeptical of the free agent signing, honestly, but it's paid off very well. Yeah, Hendrickson plays right defensive end, so yeah, he's going to be against Villanueva a lot in this game, and I like that matchup for us. So give me
The the
Cincinnati.
the thing that does scare me in this game is
Uh,
Cincinnati got the better of Baltimore last time by a lot.
yeah,
Like they crushed Baltimore. So
41-17, I think it
I
was.
think this game's going to be closer. But hey, I mean, Cincinnati by a field goal covering that spread. Give me that all day, baby.
Let's
Take
do
it.
it. On to the Chicago Bears at the Seattle Seahawks and future Giants quarterback Russell Wilson, as I will continue to say. Seattle's a -6.5, and we're both taking Seattle. Look at that.
Since the Chicago has disappointed me on so many occasions on this show, like
Oh,
even when they make me happy, they crush me in the end. In that Packers game, if you told me they would have scored 30 plus points in that game and not covered that 15-point spread, I would have called you crazy. But that's just where we're at, and it sucks. And I'm not picking them, and they're probably going to cover this spread. But I'm going to pick Seattle because I think Seattle can genuinely win by a touchdown. I like this 6.5 spread. I do think it's kind of close though, because if it was 7, I wouldn't know where to go. I think it could have been a genuine push game if it was just a flat 7. But -6.5 for Seattle. I mean, Russell Wilson might start to feel inclined. I don't want to get any Giants fans really really happy here. Russell Wilson might start to feel inclined to like go out on a good note in a sense, right? Start winning some really good games and not go out on a really bad season. And
he's
I
a
know
winner.
they're not gonna have a winning record, which is the first time in his career, which is an unbelievable stat.
Yep.
But I think he wants to almost make it as close as possible to a winning record. Ended on the best note, and I think this is the game to do it. Chicago is just dead in the water. They're making Giants fans happy too. So I think there's going to be 2 things that make Giants fans happy. Russell Wilson's going to have a good game, and they're going to get excited about their possible future quarterback. And Chicago is going to drop down on the draft board again. So I think Seattle -6.5. I like it. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to overthink it. Chicago stinks. I'm not picking them. Give me Seattle.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying not to overthink it either. And I think that I saw Justin Fields has an injury. Not sure how bad it is. It might have been an ankle injury or something like that. And I think Andy Dalton's on the COVID list. So they might be down to your boy Nick Foles, Super Bowl
Oh,
champion Nick
damn it.
Foles.
I would have picked Chicago.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. I mean, I would love Nick Foles to start in this game, honestly. So yeah, I mean, Seattle was without Tyler Lockett. And I think people forget that. And he's going to be back next week, I would assume, right? He's going to have enough time to
Yeah.
test negative twice or once, whatever the hell the rule is. I don't even know. They change all the time. But by that point, Tyler Lockett will be back. And the thing I like about Seattle is they're actually running the ball kind of effectively now. We've seen Rashad Penny 2 weeks ago had the monster game versus the Texans. And we saw Alex Collins, I believe, or was it DJ Dallas? Who was it? Damn it. DJ Dallas was 8 for 41 against the Rams on the ground, and Rashad Penny was 11 for 39. So, like, they're running the ball pretty well now. And Seattle was just not running the ball at one point once Chris Carson went on IR. And they've kind of become more of that two-dimensional offense that can run off the play action now. And Russell Wilson has more time to throw. And I think when Tyler Lockett's missing from that offense, it takes out a lot because you can put so much attention on DK Metcalf and just look to stop Freddie Swaim and Gerald Everett. You know what I mean? So it's pretty easy for defenses at that point when the best deep threat for the Seahawks is out. So now that they get him back, I like that. And right now we have one of the worst offenses in the Bears against one of the worst defenses in Seattle. But as I go over every week with this crazy stat, Seattle's 30th in yards given up, but somehow 4th in points allowed. Doesn't make sense. So if they're not holding,
again, that's so wild.
it just doesn't make. I don't get it. I have to go back and research that how it even works out this way. But it is real. So I don't think Chicago puts up a lot of points, and I do think in this matchup at home here for Seattle, they'll put up a lot of points here. You know, this might be one of Russell Wilson's last home games, sadly, and he's going to go out strong, as you said. So
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna look real stupid when he doesn't get
sad.
traded. I really am.
It's really no. I think he does get traded. I really do. I don't know if it's to the Giants, but I think he does get traded, and it sucks. I mean, it's the end of an era, the end of a Russell Wilson era that was really, really strong in Seattle. So wherever he goes, it would suck to go to the Giants because I don't want to face him twice a year. But
All
if
right.
that's the case, then that's the case. I would love him to play the Giants twice a year and put on a little midnight green, but
Oh yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
He would have waived that no trade clause so quickly. He ain't going to the Eagles. Trust.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it.
I don't think he gets traded. Honestly, I don't. But I think Pete Carroll's gone. I'll tell you that. I think that's
I
pretty.
I don't know why. I really think that he's getting traded. I thought he might have got traded before the season this year, to be honest with you. I think
Uh,
he's getting traded. I think he's done.
I'm all for it.
He's
I am
playing for
all
money
for it.
now.
No, he's playing for where Sierra wants him to play, which is New York, baby. So
More
that's
money
where we're
for her.
going. Yeah. All right. Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas is a -1 at home, and we're both taking Denver. Look at that. All right.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I'm really happy you're picking Denver because you picked Denver pretty well this year. I think
Not
I've
last
mentioned
week.
that before. Yeah, I don't. Las Vegas is just not very good, and I know they got the win last week, but they got the win by 2 points against Nick Mullins and the Cleveland Browns. Scored 16 points in that game. They look really strong, and not to mention, I know like Darren Waller was out, but they really didn't have that many like injuries or COVID problems on that team. Like they
Yeah.
were for the most part pretty healthy. And this is a team that they're playing against in the Denver Broncos that has a top defense and at times has shown an ability to score a lot of points offensively. They're hot and cold in many ways, just like the Raiders, but I think they score points in this game. The Raiders defense stinks. I think Javonte Williams has a really, really strong game in this one. You just see more and more they're leaning his way more than Melvin Gordon, which is awesome because I really just want him to go off. But yeah, Denver +1. I know it's on the road, but again, it's not really like a big travel game. They're traveling to Nevada, so I'm going to take them. I don't feel absolutely confident with it, but I just feel like I've seen Denver put together more like really good games recently than Las Vegas. So I'm going to take Denver +1.
I'm sorry to say this, but I looked up if Teddy Bridgewater is going to play this week, and he's not. I'm taking the
I,
Raiders.
I Nah,
I'm
nah,
taking the
really?
Raiders. I'm
You think the
taking the
drop
Raiders.
off is that big between Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah. And I
Give me in
was
a
a
game
Drew
like
Lock.
this.
I was a Drew Lock guy when he came out of college. He stinks. I don't know how else to say it. I like the arm talent, but the guy stinks. I mean, he's terrible
All right,
deception.
good.
Did you see the
Take the
play last
Raiders.
week where
This is Mike. You're falling into the
Drew Lock runs
Chicago
a he
Minnesota
runs
pit
a
that I fell
read
into last week.
he runs a read option and has the ball just taken out of his hands like he's just stealing candy
Oh
from a
my god, I
baby.
saw that, and then they
It was
fumbled.
embarrassing. Well, then they fumbled, yeah, but still, Drew Lock is a turnover machine. I don't trust the guy. At least I know what I'm getting from Derek Carr. It might be like 17 points, but I don't think Denver, unless they run the ball very well with Javonte Williams, is putting up a ton of points here. I
I think
hate
they
this.
will run the ball very well.
They probably will, but I hate this Raiders team. I do, but I also don't think Drew Lock is good. So I think the Broncos have a good defense. It's going to be a boring, low-scoring game that I hope the Las Vegas Raiders once again win on a game-winning field goal by Dylan Carlson, Daniel Carlson.
Daniel,
One of them is the Cardinals player. I always get confused. The outfielder for the
it's
Cardinals,
Daniel. Yeah, it's
Daniel.
Daniel. Daniel's on the. He plays football.
Daniel plays football. All right.
Yeah, Daniel plays
Um,
football.
Yeah, this actually is a good game though. Both teams are 7-7. Playoff hopes are on the line here, but yeah, listen, I'm not even a big Derek Carr guy, but over Drew Lock, absolutely, no doubt about it. And listen, I like the Raiders pass rush; they can get there against a quarterback that's very turnover prone once again. So that's why I'm going with the Raiders. Sorry to switch up there last second.
No, you're gonna be the one that's sorry in the end. Don't
I
apologize to me.
might be because I saw what happened with you last week. Not fun. On to Pittsburgh at Kansas City. Kansas City's a -10. Look at that. And we're both on the same page again, taking the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I just don't. I just don't. If for some reason in my head, and I've been very low on the Pittsburgh Steelers all year long, I just don't see this game being like a blowout, and that's what it almost has to be for Kansas City to cover a -10. And they're at home, I know, but Pittsburgh is a very experienced offense. It's not like they have a quarterback that's not used to the cold or not used to the road. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's experienced, and Ben Roethlisberger's had a pretty decent season this year. What is
Uh-oh.
happening right now?
What's going on? Is there a fire alarm going off?
No.
Is it Ring? What's going on?
Someone literally just beeped my entire street.
Oh, it's probably Santa Claus on the fire truck.
It actually might be, but he
There it
like
is.
it was like this just a horn down the entire street, and it was
Yeah.
just going from left ear to right ear, and it was slow, and I was distracting.
I think you're
It
going
sounded like there
crazy.
was a train coming into my house. Yeah.
Hold on.
So where was I? Oh no, yeah. I don't think this is going to be a blowout spot. It's an experienced Pittsburgh team. They always find a way to have a decent record at some point, and they're fighting for a playoff spot more than the Kansas City Chiefs are at this point. And I know the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to get that 1 seed, but with that loss last week or with that loss from New England, they're the sole 1 seed right now. So maybe they don't have to blow a team out like this. And I think Pitt keeps it close. I really do. I just don't see a scenario where Kansas City wins by double digits. This might be like a 3-4 point game, competitive until the end. It's a classic Pittsburgh Kansas City Christmas game or day after Christmas game. I like it. So I'm going to take Pitt plus the 10.
I wanted to see. I'm going to look at the schedule real quick because I feel like when the Steelers lose, they lose by a lot, and it's actually true.
Their defense is actually really good though. But Pittsburgh can keep this. Pittsburgh's keeping this close. I
But
don't see it.
listen to
Shocked
this.
by this spread.
Listen to the
Shocked.
scores when they've lost: 26-17 against the Raiders, 24-10 against the Bengals, 27-17 against the Packers, 41-37. Actually, they came back in that Chargers game somehow. Then 36-28 against the Vikings, which was another great comeback. So maybe we get some garbage time Roethlisberger here. That's what we need. Some garbage time Ben. But
Yeah.
I mean, look, Mike Tomlin, great coach. They'll be ready to play, in my opinion. I think this is
Yeah.
a great coaching matchup, obviously, with Andy Reid on the other side. But the one thing that's good about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense this year is getting off the field on third down and their pass defense. They're 12th best in the NFL pass defense-wise. Now, as for run defense, as for total yards, not good. But they can stop the pass, and Kansas City doesn't want to run the ball. That's not what they want to do. They don't want to go in there with Darrell Williams and Clyde and try to run the ball 30 times. That's not how they want to win. So they're going to go up against the strength of the Steelers defense. And the Steelers offense, you mentioned it, Roethlisberger's been fine. I mean, it's a lot of dink and dunk nonsense, but still, outside of rushing yards, I mean, you can make an argument that Pittsburgh has an average offense. So I don't know how they continue to do it because it looks terrible when you're watching it, but they have weapons. They have Deontay. They have Claypool, Najee Harris. We know that. So they have guys. Freiermuth is interesting because he got a concussion last week. That was a very bad play, by the way. Did you see that play when Freiermuth got concussed?
I feel like I did, but I don't remember it
He
clearly.
basically got hit. And then, he was just woozy, you could tell. And some other guy just comes in and just, pile drives him into the ground. And it was like, oh, just why do that? I think he got a penalty for unnecessary roughness. But, I could tell on TV that guy, something's going on here. And then he just got, just
A lot
shot
of
into the
lot of
ground.
head injuries, man, going on. Like a lot of stretchers been coming out lately in
Yeah.
these games. It's kind of been unreal. Like thank God no one's been paralyzed or anything, but a lot of moments where that's the thought that pops into your head.
Well,
Kind of
maybe,
scary.
what did Joe Buck say? Maybe it's too cold outside.
Oh, what an idiot! I think we talked about this when oh, what an idiot!
Now, we talked
What an
about it in
idiot!
person. I don't think we said that on here. But, yeah, Joe Buck, not a good moment. I'm not a Joe
Big
Buck
time
hater.
idiot.
But that was just not the right thing
That's
to
a
say.
moment to be a Joe Buck hater.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so yeah, we're both going with Pittsburgh there. Don't lose by a lot, please. And I think Pittsburgh's alive to win, possibly. It's not impossible. Next we have, I guess
Yeah, no, I agree.
this is Sunday night, I guess, which is a stinky game. But we have Washington. They are at Dallas. Dallas is a minus 10.5 here at home. I'm taking Washington. I don't feel great about it, and you're taking Dallas.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This might be a flip flop game for me.
Really?
Just like you flip with what you flip with?
I'll give you 5 seconds to decide.
Yeah, I'll flip it.
All right, Washington for both. Look at that.
Yeah, I'll flip it. The only reason I'm going to flip it, I don't think Dallas is covering 11 points with the way their offense has been playing. I mean,
Mhm.
there's really not a stat you could point to right now, offensively at least in the last 4 weeks, that Dallas has been elite in, and that was the one thing they had going for them, the last the first 7 weeks. That their offense was elite, and that was the one thing you could point to at the beginning of the season and say, okay, this might be the reason why the Cowboys make the playoffs, because their defense hasn't been great, and it shouldn't be great, but their offense is going to be really good. And it turns out that their defense actually has been pretty good, and their offense was really, really good, but now their offense has fell off. I mean, Dak Prescott Come on, man. It was 21-6. The Giants were about to backdoor cover that game with Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
That game was too close. Washington gets back Taylor Heineke this week. Taylor Heineke this week. They get back most of the people they had on the COVID list. I see Washington covering this spread. Again, they have a lot to play for as well. They just lost to the Eagles. They have the Eagles to look forward to as well next week. So they need to start piling wins together here. I don't think they do it against the Eagles next week, but well, that'll be another conversation for another day. Yeah, Washington plus 10.5. I don't know why my first instinct was to go with Dallas here. I guess I just didn't consider how badly they played offensively. You think with a very talented offense like that, they can't play the way they've been playing, but they have. So I'm going to take Washington plus 10.5. I do think Dallas at some point figures it out. Hopefully it's not in this game because Washington defense has been playing pretty well, and they're only going to get better as more people come back from the COVID list. So we'll switch it up here last minute. It can't really hurt me because if I'm wrong, then you're wrong too, unlike last time. So I'm okay with switching.
What if I switch to Dallas right now?
Yeah, you got to do it.
Really?
That'd be so funny. Yeah, do it. Why not?
I mean, I can make an argument for Dallas.
I'll
So
give you 5 seconds to decide.
I'll take Dallas.
Oh,
Say less.
wow. Wow.
Say
Look at that.
less.
Wow.
I'm switching to the Dallas Cowboys here. And here
Nice.
I have a conspiracy about the Giants game, and I think it's a fair one too. So last week, they knew they were going against Mike Glennon. And we saw Mike McCarthy laughing on the sideline. They knew the game was a joke. The game was a meme. It was a joke. They knew they were going into MetLife and winning because the Giants can't put up over 10 points. They knew it. So
Right.
I think Mike McCarthy went in there with the mindset of just put up X amount of points and we're coasting. We're good. Like, we don't have to try after 20 points. And once they reached 21 points, it was like they were just kind of done and checked out. So I don't think Dallas was full pedal to the metal with their offense in that game. And you mentioned Dallas's offense hasn't looked great recently, which is true, but it wasn't too long ago where they scored 33 on Thanksgiving. They scored 27 at the Saints week 13. They put up 27 against Washington a couple weeks back. So, it's not impossible for this team to do that. And we do, of course, have Washington on a short rest. That's going to help out a lot, having 5 days to rest for this game. That definitely helps. And I don't know, it's not like Taylor Heineke is anything great. Definitely a turnover machine. And Dallas's defense, I think, is one of the two best teams that get generating turnovers this year. And we saw Micah Parsons absolutely tear up this game last time. So I don't know. I think Dallas actually just has more urgency on offense this week. So I think they put up some points, and I just don't trust Heineke to do it. So, yeah. And
Nice.
and Antonio Gibson has a toe injury. If he misses, that's big. Because Jarrett Patterson's half the player. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's no debate. Well, but I'm surprised you picked Philly and not the Giants this week with everything you just said about Washington. Because Philly's kind of in the same scenario here. Short rest.
It's the run game that did it for me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And
you're elite. You're elite. To think that the Eagles didn't even figure out the run, like that they could run the ball until like week 5, it's kind of amazing that they're number 1.
Yeah. They should have been in the Super Bowl by now. You're right. Last game, this is actually a fun game because, like, if this game happened a month ago, it would suck. But now it's fun because these are actually playoff contenders. Miami Dolphins at the New Orleans Saints. I believe Monday Night Football. The Saints are a -3, and we're both taking Miami. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. This is another game like the Minnesota game where if Miami somehow wins, that helps the Eagles. So I'm almost biased in a sense because I am rooting for them in this game. But I feel like this is a very similar, like, I don't know if you remember the Miami-Baltimore game where everybody was, like, really on Baltimore and Miami just came out and they outright won the game. I feel like this is very similar. A low spread at home. I feel like a lot of money is going to be on the Saints in this one. And I think Miami is a good enough team to figure it out. Their defense is strong. They're going to be able to shut down a Saints offense that it's not really that great. And I know they shut out Tom Brady last week, so they got that going for them defensively. But Miami's shown an ability to score points, and they are arguably one of the hottest teams in terms of wins in the NFL. So I'm going to take Miami plus the 3. I don't really have much to go off of. These teams are really inconsistent on both sides of the ball. But I'll take Miami because I trust Tua. I think Tua gets a big win in prime time. And I think they win this game, and they put themselves in a decent spot to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they've won 6 in a row now. I mean, my whole philosophy with this game was just take the points. When I saw the Saints were favored by 3, I said, all right, I'll take it. But The argument I can make is that, of course, with the Taysom Hill led offense, it's going to be mainly a rushing offense. We know that.
Right.
And I mean, look, the only reason the Saints won last week is because Tom Brady didn't score. Like, I think once the Saints were in the third quarter and realized that, like, hey, the Buccaneers are kind of screwed offensively, they weren't doing much offensively. It was just a lot of like Taysom Hill design runs that went for like 2-3 yards, and like they just kept punting over and over. It was just like one of those games that if you like punts, that was the game for you. But like it was boring. So Miami has a top 10 rush defense, seventh best in the NFL. So I think they could stop the run. They definitely underutilized Alvin Kamara last week. So with Sean Payton coming back, that should help. But Taysom Hill doesn't have much of a history of throwing to the running back, I feel like. I think I remember hearing on fantasy podcast that when Taysom Hill was a starter last year, he was not much of a check down to the running back type guy. So that impacts their best weapon in Alvin Kamara. And you're asking two good corners on Miami to cover Marquez Callaway and Deontay Harris. Is that it? Whoever Traquan
Yeah.
Smith, that's it. Yeah.
Traquan Smith, yep.
Yeah, I think they can do that. I think it's a good matchup for Miami. And the Saints are a good run defense, but Miami doesn't run the ball anyway. I mean, Duke Johnson ran the ball very well, but that was against the Jets, and the Jets are like the worst run defense in football, I feel like maybe.
They had to run the ball in that situation.
They had to, exactly.
Yeah.
So they probably can't run the ball this week, so it's going to be a lot of Tua, but the Saints secondary has been beatable this year. So I think it's a good matchup for Tua. They should get Jalen Waddle back, which of course is huge for that team.
Big, huge.
So yeah, I like Miami for the matchup.
Let's do it, baby.
It's a spot game. So give me
Miami win the game?
I think so. I think they do. Yeah.
Nice.
Keep
All right, good. I agree.
I have not picked any
it.
favorite bets yet. I'm lacking here, but I remember making arguments for a couple of teams here. Do you have any in mind that you want to go to, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go with I was almost okay. I'm gonna go with. Oh, jeez, I don't want to do this again. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville +2.
Oh no!
And go Seattle -6.5.
By the way, we were undefeated on our favorite bets.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
I took what? I took the Bills and the Rams.
Bills and the Rams. Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
Well, who'd you take?
You took the Bills, Rams. I took Steelers, Chiefs. Dubs.
Wow, look at us.
Wins only. I pick winners.
Statistically, I should just make the Thursday night game my favorite bet every week.
I'm thinking about it right now. I like the Niners a lot. Who do I want to go with? Wow. I made a good argument for Cincinnati. I made a good argument for Buffalo.
Whoa! Scratch my
oh boy,
Jacksonville pick.
Okay.
Can you get LA -3? I'll do the Rams -3 against Minnesota. Yeah,
Rams -3. All right, cool. I don't know who I want to take. This is tough. I feel like there's a lot of games I equally like this week. I mean, I'll take the Miami Dolphins on Monday night. I'll go there, and I will also
really. Do you like that like a lot?
Yeah,
that kind of concerns me now. I think they're going to get blown out now.
It's a good matchup for them. I do. How is Taysom Hill going to blow somebody out? Stop.
I don't know. Well,
No, stop.
You tell me. You're the one picking Miami. I think you're bad luck.
Fantasy land. No, it's not going to happen.
I'm starting Taysom Hill in fantasy this week.
I did last week. It didn't go well. Cincinnati's interesting to me. I don't want to go there.
Take Pitt +10.
I'm taking Carolina. Yeah, I'm taking Carolina. I'll bet with Cam Newton. Give me Cam Newton.
Wow.
Great quarterback. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
I think it's a good matchup for them as well. It's a matchup game. It's all about the matchups, and I like the matchups. So my favorite bets are Panthers +10.5 and Dolphins +3. Andrews is Los Angeles Rams -3 and the Seattle Seahawks -6.5. So, by the way, before we close out, we usually end on something. I saw that they were tweeting out the Pro Bowl teams, the Pro Bowl rosters.
Oh, here we go.
Figure we react to that, right?
This could be a video within itself. Yeah, let's do it.
Don't spend too much time on it. NFC quarterbacks, there's 3 of them. You want to take a guess? I'll just give you guesses and see if you can do it.
Oh, okay. NFC. All right. Well, I'm going to go with Tom Brady.
Yes.
Rodgers.
Yes.
Now this is fan vote, right? So even though I think Stafford, because of the Murray injury, has been better, I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray.
You are correct.
Oh, look at me.
I think you saw the answer.
I'm a guru. No, 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 no. I
All
saw
right.
Rodgers made it. I didn't see anybody else.
Oh, okay. The guesses are going to take too long. So anyway,
Okay.
AFC, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Any problems there? If you want to
Lamar
put
Jackson.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Who else should
Yeah.
have made it in the AFC?
I would
Burrow?
have put. Oh yeah, I would have put Burrow. I actually yes,
Josh
Burrow should have
Allen?
made it. Josh Allen, yeah.
Yeah, why did Lamar make it? That's interesting.
Fan vote. He's a
Wow.
bunch of. I would have taken Tyler Huntley over Lamar.
The Pro Bowl running backs / fullbacks: Dalvin Cook, James Conner, Alvin Kamara still makes it, and Kyle Juszczyk. Then for the AFC, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, and Pat Ricard. I thought it was Patrick
Okay.
Ricard. Okay, I think that's
I would
fair.
have probably given Eckler a spot there though.
Yeah, Eckler over who though? Taylor, Chubb, Mixon. That's tough.
That was a tough three.
I feel like I can make a case for an NFC running back over Kamara because I just don't think he's been like amazing.
Cook.
Right? Cook's in it, so can't do that.
Oh,
Connor's been good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I don't think Elijah Mitchell's like played enough games, but he had the efficiency to do. Man, what about Leonard Fournette? That's a guy.
Well, yeah,
Fournette over Kamara. That's
doesn't. They're going to the Super Bowl anyways. Doesn't matter.
whatever. All right, fine. All right, so that's that. Pro Bowl wide receivers: Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Debo Samuel, Justin
That's a
Jefferson.
strong group.
That's a
That's
great
a
group.
strong
That's an
group.
awesome group.
Wow,
AFC: Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, and Jamar Chase. How about that?
that's a strong group. Oh my
Yeah.
God, wide receivers are stacked.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to
I
think
don't know if
who missed out here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Jalen Waddle should have made it.
I think, yeah, why not?
Yeah, he's up there.
Not over Jamar Chase though. I don't know if you could explain
Yeah.
just with Jamar Chase's season this year.
I think Marquise Brown was on pace, but he fell off recently.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl tight ends: George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce. It's no surprise. It's the best four. Do we care about offensive linemen? Should I just say it?
Well, if there's an Eagle on the list, then sure.
Rashawn Slater, Orlando Brown, Deion Dawkins, Trent Williams, Tristan Wirfs, Tyrone Smith. Not much of a surprise to anybody there. Good job by the Chiefs to make Orlando Brown.
Wait, so the none of the Eagles players made it?
I'm going over. This is guards now. Quentin Nelson, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller. So 2 Browns, Brandon Sheriff, Zach Martin, Ali Marpet from the Buccaneers.
Nice.
Centers, Corey Lindsley, Ryan Kelly, Jason Kelsey, and Ryan Jensen.
It's Jason Kels.
Shut up. I don't believe in that, by the way. I really don't believe in that.
I actually watched, you know what I watched the other day? I watched like the mic'd up version of the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl.
Right.
And Brent Selleck comes down on the sideline and he's like, great block, Kels, great block, Kels. And I was like, wow, they all called him Kels.
Maybe.
Interesting.
I feel like Brent Selleck was an Eagle for 20 years.
Maybe
like
a
12.
long time.
Like 12.
I know when you go over the cornerbacks, I know AJ Terrell didn't make it.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Hold your horses. Defensive line. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, DeForest Buckner, Chris Jones, Cameron Hayward, NFC, Nick Bosa, Cam Jordan, Brian Burns, Aaron Donald, Jonathan Allen, and Kenny Clark. Seems fair.
That's a good group.
Yeah. All right. Then we have.
I would have given a spot to Javon Hargrave, but I'm biased.
A little biased. Yeah.
He's been very good though.
Where's Leonard Williams, bro?
Oh yeah.
He's been fine this year. I don't know about Pro Bowl level. Actually, the Giants had no Pro Bowlers. There was like 4 teams without a guy. I'll go over that later. Defensive backs: J.C. Jackson, Xavier Howard, Denzel Ward, Kenny Moore, Kevin Byard, Derwin James, Tyrone Matthew, Trayvon Diggs, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Marshawn Lattimore, Quandre Diggs, Budda Baker, Harrison Smith.
Quandre Diggs made it over.
That was a little surprising. Yeah.
Is he more of a safety?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't matter. That's a strong group for AJ Terrell to make it in, though. Obviously, Trevon, you could say whatever you want. Like AJ Terrell's better than Trayvon Diggs, which I do agree.
Terrell? He didn't make
He's
it?
not on the list. No, that's what your brother's going crazy. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting spammed with text.
That's a snub.
Yeah, it's a snub, and I'm saying if it's fan vote, he's going to be an All Pro. AJ Terrell, and he didn't make a Pro Bowl.
That's what matters most. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Pro Bowl linebackers. Well, I
Maybe he
guess
gets
some of
one.
these guys are edge rushers too. TJ Watt, Joey Bosa, Matthew Judon, great signing. Darius Leonard, Denzel Perriman. Perriman's interesting because he signed with the Panthers and then got traded to the Raiders before playing a game with the Panthers. It was very odd. Like, how often
Weird.
does a free agent get signed and not play a game and get traded? It's weird.
That's
But
weird.
it's worked out very well for the Raiders. Chandler Jones, Robert Quinn, who might break the Bears single season sack record as we saw last night. Shaq Barrett, Micah Parsons, Bobby Wagner.
I didn't hear Nick Bosa.
No, not in there. No.
What?
Joey Bosa.
Nick Bosa's not in there?
Would you put him in over Chandler Jones?
Yeah.
Robert Quinn?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. Shaq Barrett?
Maybe
No.
not. Yeah. Yes. Nick Bosa over Shaq Barrett? Yeah, I would.
I don't even know what Nick Bosa's stats
Dude,
are right now.
Nick Bosa has like 15 sacks coming off an ACL injury.
Not bad.
Yeah, he's going to be the comeback player of the year.
Special teams. Matt Gay, Justin Tucker. No surprise.
Okay. Yeah, no
Punter,
surprise.
Brian Anger, AJ Cole. Return specialist.
Wait, hold on. I want to guess this.
Yeah, I want to guess. Yeah, guess one of them.
Oh, return specialist. DeAndre Carter.
No.
For Washington? No?
Nope. No.
Ooh. I don't even know. Return specialist.
You know one of these guys for sure. One of these guys got released or traded midseason. He used to play in the AFC East.
Oh, Jakeem Grant.
There you go. Jakeem Grant
Nice.
and Devin Duvernay from the
I was actually going to say Jakeem Grant. I didn't think he would make it.
should have said it. Special teams, Matthew Slater, no surprise. JT Gray. I don't know who he plays for. I don't know who that is. Guess, do you know who the long snappers are? Because I've never heard of these guys.
Actually, there's a long snapper that went to Rutgers that's made a couple Pro Bowls.
It's a very white name, generic white guy name.
Oh, what team is he on?
I don't know. Doesn't say.
Is he on the Bengals? He might be on the Bengals.
No.
Oh, I forget this guy's name.
His name is very similar to a Brooklyn Nets shooting guard that shoots three-pointers very well.
I don't know.
It's Josh Harris.
Oh, I don't know.
Not Joe Harris. And Luke Rhodes. Congrats to those. So teams without Pro Bowlers, Giants, Jets, Broncos. Wow. I think that Pat Surtain should have made it. I forget who the cornerbacks were, but Pat Surtain's having a great year.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Texans and Lions, no Pro Bowlers.
Justin Simmons didn't make it either for them for the Broncos.
No.
No Garrett Bowles either.
No, I feel like he's been bad lately. I don't know. I've seen him get beat
You
sometimes.
can make an argument for Javonte Williams too. If he played more, he'd be there.
If Melvin Gordon didn't exist, he'd probably be there.
Yeah,
That's a
you're
shame.
right.
All right. That's it.
Great show today.
Great
Merry
show.
Christmas, everybody.
Yes, Christmas. It doesn't feel like Christmas at all, by the way.
No,
It's kind of
absolutely
sad. I need some snow. I need some snow in my life, and then I'll feel like it. But right now, no. COVID Christmas 2021. Enjoy.
Enjoy, everybody.
Yeah. Actually, Andrew's father right now has the COVID, so your family's Christmas is ruined. Like I'm sure.
Yeah,
a lot of
we're
other
actually
people.
not. We're actually not going anywhere, which sucks because
I'll
we
come
couldn't.
over.
We couldn't go anywhere for Thanksgiving either because my mom had some virus that wasn't COVID related, but we were scared that it was COVID, so we didn't go. Didn't get the test back in time and stuff like that. So it's a whole thing. I'll see my family on Easter, I guess.
It's not meant to be. Yeah, maybe Easter. Yeah. All right. I mean, I'll come over for Christmas if you want.
No, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll talk to you next week.